from CBS News, which means it's not news, but I like to show you. Remember how I said all the baby boomer journalists that they wanted to become like the guys that busted Nixon, and now they're in charge now. This passes for news. Now you see what's wrong with the title. Let's see if you can get this. Student loan debt halts New York woman's dream to become a nun. What's wrong with that? Think about it. What's wrong? What? You don't have to go to school to become a nun. Don't you just show up at the nunnery or monastery or whatever the heck it is? Say, hey, I'd like to devote my life to Christ. I'm Catholic. Isn't that what? So she had a dream beforehand, and that dream was to become whatever it is that she got the student loan for, whatever she went into debt for. So right off the bat, this is, look, I know you millennials out there. I know there's many good ones and you guys all listen to it, but this is the problem that for those of us older people see, at least those of us with a brain. It's like, can you stop being hypocrites? This is a short article, but there's so much to it, and it starts right off with the title. I pursued one dream, but my dream has now always been to become a nun. And I'm like, oh really? Because that's kind of drastic. Why are you also becoming a nun? New York, of course. A young woman wants to be a nun, but has been told she can't until she pays off her debts. As CBS New York reported, a fashion designer by day. Oh, there's the answer. See, 28-year-old Alita Tyler. See, right there. We are a sentence and a half into this. And if you have the super awesome economic genius like I do, you can already fill out the rest of this article. You can already see what's going on. You had a spoiled little typical millennial brat that swallowed whole that she could go to New York, because if I can make it in New York, I can make it anywhere. It's up to you, New York, New York. And like the lemmings, like the truly average, if not outright stupid people that thought Sex in the City was a real fucking thing, she went out there to become a fashion designer. How typically stupid. How typically spoiled brat, swipple, suburbanite American. So she goes out to New York. Oh, here it is. After graduating from the University of Louisiana with a fashion degree, Taylor landed a job with a Broadway costume designer in New York City. When I moved to the city, I had all these desires. I wanted to have a career, a family, and marriage, but your heart begins to shift. No, you couldn't keep the job. That's what it was. You weren't making it in New York because you couldn't make it there, therefore you can't make it anywhere. And now, like typical, not always, I can't say typical, like a significant percentage of young women that I have warned you boys about are the born-again Christian women, okay? Or the born-again anything, born-again any religion, where there's a girl, there's a problem, she has a legitimate kid, she runs over somebody because she's drunk, she gets a DWI, and then they all of a sudden find Jesus. And the reason they do this is because Christianity in particular can be abused, because it absolves you of any responsibility, and it not just in the past, and it forgives you of all your sins. Jesus forgives you of your sins, so even though you brought 3 bastard children into the world, you went into debt for a stupid thing, you hit somebody while driving drunk, that's all okay. Jesus forgives you. He loves you very, very much, even though you're a worthless fucking whore. And then in the future, it absolves you of any kind of responsibility, because the Lord will provide. The Lord has a plan. And what angers me to no end about these type of gals, because I went through a spate of them. It was really weird. I dated a bunch of them. Like, not intentionally. It just happened to be like 4 of them right in a row. Is how when something good happens, well, then that's their doing. See? Well, I worked hard to become an engineer. I worked hard to become an accountant. Of course, these aren't really what they're. I worked hard to do X, Y, and Z, and that's why I'm successful. But anything bad, oh my God, do they run and hide behind the shield of Jesus? Do they run and hide behind God has a plan? And it's not only weak and hypocritical, it's just disgusting and cowardly. And then they throw on top of it the moral superiority. I mean, you want to talk about the exact same template, the exact same genetic makeup material as a social justice warrior. It's a born-again Christian. They're better than you. They'll lord the morality over you. They want to abdicate any responsibility. They want to deflect any kind of agency. And they above all else will protect their precious little egos. And that's why everything in the past, the Lord had a plan. It had nothing to do with me being a dipshit and majoring in fashion. So right off the bat, I don't believe for a second, and she goes into it, but your heart begins to shift. No, it doesn't. No, it never did. How many cocks did you take up your ass before you decided, your heart began to shift? And how many cocks would you have continued to take in all your various different holes if you kept making it as, actually you had a career as a Broadway designer? You actually had a successful career. It's because you ran out of money and your ego cannot sustain this. That's exactly what it is. It shifted more towards God. Taylor hopes to join the Sisters of the Life Convent on the Upper West Side in September, but she's been told that she has to pay off her student debts first. Well, at least the Catholic Church is still holding some modicum of standards. I know your latest pope out there is like, fuck it. Pope fuck it. That's what his name is. Pope fuck it the second. We don't care, whatever. That financial debt hang on, this is a quote. That financial debt, having that be resolved, allows her to freely enter into her vocation, Sister Marie Agnes Die of the Sisters of Life said. Each congregation determines its own policies to accepting applicants with debts. But with a college degree as common as it is today, Taylor said many of her peers are facing a similar dilemma. How many women is this a thing? Is this a trend? You millennial gals that you fucked it up and now you go run to the church? No doubt. From 15 to age 28, young Taylor, you must have speak poorly about Christians, right? Your old little leftist upbringing there, going to your leftist liberal college and majoring in a leftist thing like fashion design. You've never uttered a bad word against the church, right? Oh, that's right. Jesus forgives. Fuck human standards. Fuck humans' insistence on consistency and principle. Taylor had planned to pay off her $18,000 loan over the next 10 years. Are you fucking joking me? That's not even that much. You see, and here's the proof, ladies and gentlemen. This is why I was a great credit analyst and knew the housing bubble was coming, because this doesn't add up. $18,000 is not a lot of money. You could take a second job. So if you're making it in New York, how come you can't afford an $18,000 loan? Let alone you're going to amortize it over 10 years? You were making peanuts. That's what it is. Your life, your first dream, your true dream, went poof, blew up in your face. And now you're scrambling. You're desperate. And you're going to be a hypocrite and you're going to pose as a goddamn Christian. At least you won't have to have sex, right, Taylor? Now she said soliciting donors through a GoFundMe page is the only way she'll make the Covenant's September deadline. Well, why don't you go get a second job, Liz Middle spoiled cunt of the Royal Order of the Royal Order of the Sisters of the Spoiled Cunt. Is that what it is? Is that the monastery or the nunnery? The nunnery of the spoiled, over-indebted, fake, hypocritical cunts. That's the only way you're going to make the Covenant September deadline. How about you wait for next year's deadline? You go get a second job. And hey, you know what? Be efficient about it. Go pull some tricks because the Lord provides. Jesus forgives. Fuck it. So what? You're the only nun with herpes and gonorrhea. That's fine. The Lord will provide. He'll forgive. Jesus forgives everything. I say you slut it up for a year, pay off, God almighty, $18,000. You could pull tricks for a year. I mean, she's not that, yeah, she's okay looking on the eye. She could do it. You do a month. Every other day you bang a different guy. Give yourself a little rest, recovery time. All right, then you go bang another guy. $1,000. Hey, go on the date with him, you know? Go on the date, do the thing. You could get free food. God almighty, just what a hypocrite. Quote, if a person has student loan debt, they can't just get rid of it. Yeah, you can. It's called working a second job. Apparently this is beyond anyone under 30. People think maybe if you file for bankruptcy, which is getting out of debt, you can rid of student loan debt. You can get rid of student loan debt. Most of the time you can't, period. Bankruptcy lawyer Tanya Helfand said. Well, thank you, Tanya. Does working ever occur? Working off the debt? Is that a thing? Or is that beneath you millennials because you're just so fucking precious and smart with your degrees in fucking fashion? In the convent, a second job is not an option. Oh, okay. Well, wait a minute. You're not going to join the convent until you get a second job. I mean, you're not going to join the convent until you pay off your loan. Look at how intellectually dishonest this is. This is not journalism. This is propaganda. You can't join the convent until you pay off your debts. So you can get a second job. These people in the convent, a second job is not an option. Well, you weren't getting in anyway. Religious life is a full-time job, so to speak. So she wouldn't be able to work and enter into religious life, said Sister Marianne Agnes D.A. Nuns of Sisters of Life have no salary or stipend. The Lord, here we go, the Lord, when it's in his will, he always provides. Oh, there it is. There it is. He always provides, and I just trust him, Taylor said. Oh my God, am I good? I am just so fucking good. Someone's going to assassinate me, I'll die. The good die young. And people say, well, how come? There you go. You killed the guy that he saw it a mile away. A mile away. If Taylor can't get things settled by September, the convent said she could try again next year. There are 15 young women hoping to join the Sisters of Life convent in September. Look, Sisters of Life, I know many of you are probably not listening. I know this is probably a little bit too crass for you. Don't let her in. Please don't let her in. This is a fraud. This is, not to get biblical, this is one of those things where, what was the parable or the story? You cast the seeds, and some of the seeds fall on rock and never grow, and then the seeds kind of, sometimes they fall on okay soil, but it's rocky underneath, they grow a little bit, but then they die and wither, and then there are those that land in good soil, and they grow, and they're successful, they progress. This gal's falling on she's using you as from one swinging branch to the next. She's just going, come on, you can't let her in. You just can't let her in. The Lord, well, right there, the Lord, what? Come on, guys. Help me help you. Okay? Help me help you. You don't have to date these girls. Anytime a girl says, the Lord has a plan, the Lord will provide, Jesus forgives, get the fuck out. Okay? They're hypocrites. They value themselves more than they do anything else, especially God. Especially, they are wiping their ass with God and Jesus and Christianity and the Bible, or anyone else that joins these religions out of desperation. They have an ulterior motive, and that is themselves. They're not selfless, they're not moral, they're not principled, they don't believe in the religion, they are merely scrambling to protect. I wish it was something like starvation. I wish it was something like, well, I'm going to die if I don't get some food, so you go to the church and get alms. This is for something as pathetic and vain and sad as their fucking egos. Because they can't handle the fact that they fucked up. They will not accept responsibility. It is their fault and their decision and their inferior intelligence, or they could be smart people. They just made bad choices. They cannot accept, what it is, their ego cannot accept that it was them to blame. And I wish you Christians would realize this, although I guess a lot of you guys just don't care. You want to pack the seats and make more money because you too are fake Christians. But for those real ones, I wish you could see these wolves in sheep clothing. Because they don't care about the religion. They just don't. And where it gets particularly hurtful. See, if you're secular and you're a guy like me, you pat these girls on the head. Yeah, sure you believe in Jesus, darling. Yeah, okay, whatever, the fake ones. and it doesn't affect you. But if you're a religious guy, and I got a buddy, he's Christian, and he insists on dating a Christian girl, and I keep trying to explain, I think he's getting it. Almost 40 years old. He's maybe finally getting it. That there is a difference between, just because the girl says she's Christian, doesn't mean it's so. And that a lot of the gals, especially, he's got a single mother, a gal that's like desperate, like a 30-year-old virgin. I could go on about the because he's getting older and he's starting to date these older gals. And you want to talk about a fucked up group of people. Look at the fucking Christian single women 35 and older. Holy shit, is that a goddamn circus? That is a freak show. I'd like to go into detail, but I don't want to mention names or any kind of identifying information. Because they are so freaky and weird and odd, and not in a good way, not in a charming, endearing, eccentric way, a really fucked up way, that you're like, yeah, don't tell me you were on Team Jesus this entire time and then bad things just happened. You were a fucking whore. You were a slut. You were an idiot. You were a cunt. You made bad decisions. You didn't save money. You were lazy. You were slothful. You were basically all seven sins. And now that the parental support is gone, or daddy runs off and doesn't pay his child support, the rubber about to hit the road. But why have the rubber hit the road when you have Jesus block it all for you? And then you can have your pompous, arrogant, fucking higher, holier than thou attitude about yourself, even though you are the epitome of fucking scum. That's the one thing I really loathe about these gals. I can't say men are the same because I've never dated men, so I don't mean to sound like I'm just slamming on the women, but I am, because that's all I've dated in this particular example. I've not seen it in men though either. But a welfare bomb, hell, I got more respect for Black Lives Matter because at least they're brainwashed into thinking that they're oppressed. They think that Whitey really is out to get them. In other words, and if you operate from that premise, okay, you can see where they're very pissed off. I understand that. Okay, that at least is logical. But these gals that come in and not only I accuse them of consciously doing this, like running to find Jesus to put in between rubber hit the roads and deflect to protect their egos. But then when they go the extra step to dare lord over you and lecture over you that you have to meet their standards, that you are failing because you're not a Christian, that they are better because they're saying, oh, this sanctimonious bullshit, that pisses me off. And boys, if you ever run into one of these girls, and I've already told you how to identify them. We talked about red and yellow flags before with our guy up in Calgary. They say the Lord provides, Jesus has a plan, God has a plan, Jesus forgives, and then anytime they're born again, like they weren't Team Jesus the entire time. They just also, and you can see it. Just take away the religion and look at them as secular people. Saying, okay, what type of person would this be if they weren't religious? They'd be a fucking deadbeat fucking single mom. They'd be a bankrupt fucking party girl who went to New York and didn't spend her money right, didn't save her money. So don't let religion obfuscate the situation for you secular guys. And certainly for my Christian brothers out there, don't let the fact, Christian, the stamp of Christian or the self-claim that they're Christian, confuse you. Say, well, I thought you were Christian. As they go and they bang some guy. They won't bang you, but then they'll bang some other guy. I didn't know. But Jesus forgives. Not only do they wipe their asses with the Bible and God and Jesus, they wipe your face. They wipe their ass with your face. You sucker Christian boys out there who date these born-again Christian girls. They wipe your... Well, I know I had 3 children from 5 different fathers, but Jesus forgives. And now, good obedient Christian man who's been saving himself for marriage, I'm a born-again virgin. You can stick your dick in my formerly gonorrhea-infected pussy. That'd be interesting. How many nuns are virgins? That would be a great question, a great chart. Over time, percentage of nuns that are virgins. I bet you that sucker just tanked right back in the 60s and 70s. And it's going downhill, man. Let's see if we can't find that. Let's look this up.